welcome you to this work session of the Planning Commission for the month of January.
June?
That's because it's holy. Special welcome to Councilman Glover. He said she's joining us today. We're missing one member, but we're hoping that she's on her way. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, hopefully we will have a quorum before our 1:30 regular meeting begins. We do have two items that are scheduled for you for a work session presentation. The second one we'll talk about briefly at the end. It's a request again for a deferral. The first one is use permit 19-08. That is Julie's use permit item. She will make a presentation and answer any questions you may have.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairwoman, Planning Commissioners. The use permit before you today involves the property at 5901 West High Street. The applicant requests a use permit for a restaurant, for a Starbucks restaurant with the drive-through and outdoor seating. As most of you know, Portsmouth zoning ordinance requires any restaurant with a drive-through facility to obtain a use permit. The development is proposed at approximately half an acre out parcel on the corner of High Street West and Tire Neck Road. The property is zoned general mixed use and is the former site of a BP gas station and auto repair shop. The existing structures on the property are in the process of being demolished to make way for the new development. So the proposed parcel is within a commercially developed corridor, and the surrounding parcels are all zoned general mixed use. And as you can see to the north is a Hardees fast food restaurant, and to the east is a CVS pharmacy. Not pictured here is a Exxon gas station located to the northeast. All right, and to the south is a strip shopping center that includes a Little Caesars Pizza, Subway, and a very popular ABC store, among other businesses. And then to the west is a Walgreens pharmacy. The following slides show the four elevations provided. The building, the proposed building is 2,000 square feet, and the exterior will be cementous siding with a wood tone stain, and a charcoal brick veneer will accent the wood tone stain along the building. So this elevation shows the side facing High Street, and there will be a service door located on that side, and then it also shows the parking lot CVS side elevation with the pickup window. And the service door on High Street will not have public access. Okay, and then this elevation faces the shopping center and has the outdoor dining area, which will encompass roughly 300 square feet.
How many tables will that? Do you know how many tables
We don't have an exact number of seats yet,
Okay.
but they did say that it would be roughly 300 square feet for that. Okay. This elevation shows the front facade of the building facing Tire Neck Road and includes the primary entrance. It also shows the secondary entrance, which faces the shopping center. So the existing parcel has 4 access points, 2 of which will be removed and leaving one on High Street and another on Tire Neck Road. The driveway on High Street will be right in and right out only. And the applicant has proposed sidewalks along High Street and along Tyreneck Road that will increase pedestrian connectivity. 4 stacking spaces will be provided between the pickup window and the order board, and then an additional 3 stacking spaces from the order board, or before the order board. The Portsmouth zoning ordinance requires 1 parking space per 200 square feet, plus 1 parking space for every 5 outdoor seats. And the proposed site plan provides 20 spaces. So the future land use map of the newly adopted Build 1 Portsmouth comprehensive plan designates 5901 High Street as a commercial use. The parcel is also within an employment redevelopment focus area, and the proposed sidewalks support the development goals of the focus area. So Portsmouth, this Starbucks will be Portsmouth's 3rd Starbucks. One is located off Effingham Street in Old Town. Another is located in the Kroger Marketplace on Frederick Boulevard. And this location plans to hire 18 to 25 people, and it will adhere to a normal Starbucks business hours, typically from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., and with the peak hours being from about 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So in conclusion, the planning staff finds that the proposal complies with the requirements of the zoning ordinance and the recommendations of the comprehensive plan. So full compliance will be evaluated during the site plan review process, and planning staff recommends approval of UP 1908 with the conditions listed in the staff report. This concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to stand by for any and all questions.
Commissioners, any questions for Jeff? Mr. Yakima?
You have the sign out. You know how long that was out, because it's not out now.
Yes. Yeah. When I took the pictures, the sign was out. So, and I did notice that it was removed. I'm not sure when it was removed.
Well, I went by yesterday about 4:30 and it wasn't there.
Yeah, so maybe.
Well, Julie, I'm sure it was probably about 30 days. I always put the sign shop request in
Yeah.
after we do our legal ad, and then it stays up for the 30 days until I put another request in. That's normally 30 days after our last legal ad. It's about 30 days.
Did you get any feedback from the neighbors?
No, we did have the owner of Joe Jack speak at the last public hearing, but we did not receive any other objections or comments.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Is there going to be any kind of a traffic study in conjunction with the site plan process?
Well, we have discussed with the engineering department and the city staff and decided that based on the trip generation counts of the previous use and the proposed use, that a TIA is not necessary at this time. That could always be changed during the site plan review process, but
I'm speaking as a resident of Churchland.
yeah.
That Hardees across the street is a traffic nightmare because of the drive-through and people trying to get in there, and they block Tyreneck basically trying to get in
Yeah.
there. And so it concerns me that the site plan that we're looking at does not prevent people from trying to do that exact same thing off of Tyreneck to get into the drive-through. So.
Well, I mean, the Hardees is because of poor drive-through management by Hardees. It is not a design problem. It's that the customers don't get in the line. They choose to come in from the side and block Tyreneck Road. So that's not a Hardees problem per se, or
Right.
a site.
I'm just saying it's a traffic
In this
problem.
case, I think the volume that will go through is not the same as in the holdup you get in the Hardees, based on my experience watching that exact part.
It's a mess.
It is a mess. That one could be corrected by Hardees themselves just by forcing people to get into the drive-through correctly as opposed to coming in from the side. See the same behavior if you want to go over to Chesapeake and McDonald's at Dock Landing Road. People do the exact same thing over there. There's tons of room for drive-through stacking, and no, I'm gonna come in from the side because I don't want to drive around the building. So that's something, probably for Hardees to address. That's, I think, in their purview. This meets our zoning ordinance requirement as far as stacking.
And in terms of trips, it doesn't necessarily, the difference between what was there before and the new use doesn't exceed the threshold where a TIA would be required.
Commissioners, any additional questions for Ms. Chuck? Thank you.
Just from
Mr.
a
Blair.
layperson's standpoint, TIA is traffic impact assessment?
Or traffic impact analysis.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I figured it was somewhere there.
Our zoning ordinance calls out requirements for when they are required. This one does not meet the traffic generation to trigger that automatically.
Okay.
We also have in the code reserves the right for the city engineer to request one if he deems it necessary. In this case, as Ms. Child was explaining, he was comparing the prior use to the current use, and traffic generation, he had concluded that he would not require a TIA at this time.
And the applicant pays for the TIA?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Ms. Chuck. Now, as I recall, we opened the public hearing in May, that public hearing remains open. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next item, UP 19-09. This is the one I was mentioning before, is requested referral. We'll let Stacy kind of fill you in on the details of this one.
Sure.
It's a little convoluted, so we'll let Stacy kind of walk through that.
All right, as you can see for this adult daycare request, it involves 4 parcels of land. At first glance, it looked like the 4 parcels were owned by the same company. However, one of the parcels is really owned by a sister company. It's complicated. It's a healthcare company. It's a little complicated. Basically, after the sign was posted on the properties, well, we got a call. Well, I think John got the call. I didn't talk to the people, but they said, wait a minute, why is there a sign on this property for a use permit? Lo and behold, they feel like, wait a minute, we didn't get permission for a use permit to be applied for this adult daycare. So they're gonna get those things straight behind the scenes. If y'all don't mind giving them at least the 30 days to defer, just so we can try to get those issues worked out. So that's what happened.
Was this on the former single-family residence or on the office building?
The single family, one of the single family residences is actually 921 Crawford. It's where the parking lot actually sits. And it's funny, when we got the application, I got 3 physical surveys of the office on, I think, Fort Lane, and then got the parking lot at 921 Crawford. Then I got the physical survey for 927 Crawford, then Hatton, 231 Hatton. Got the physical surveys, but only the portion for 921 Crawford. So I was confused on that. So this is why it got confusing, because the true owner did not give permission for them to apply for the use permit. So we just need to get those things worked out there.
It probably goes back to when there were lots of houses there that have since burned down and then replaced,
Perhaps.
vacant lots and such.
Yeah, but that's what
So
happened.
Stacy, the request is for a deferral.
They are,
30 days.
for at least 30 days, until we, get further information. Okay.
Any questions for Ms. Porter? Thank you.
And that concludes what you have on your regular agenda for today.
Okay.
So I have a couple of other items I want to mention. First of all, before I talk about your upcoming joint meeting, I just want to mention, I think we're all aware, what happened in Virginia Beach last Friday, and you're not aware, the Virginia Beach Planning Department was in that building as well, that, number 2 municipal building, in addition to the public utilities, public works, IT, I believe was in that building. The planning department was in there as well. Just to let you know that, I have reached out to their planning director. He's new, he's been there just for, I believe, a few months, having come over from the city of Norfolk, and just let him know that anything we could do to assist if they needed. There'll be some period of time they're gonna be in trying to go reset and reestablish. So we have reached out to them to let them know that the city of Portsmouth, with council's blessings, and certainly from our department to them, anything we can do to help them get through this time for getting themselves reestablished, we've offered to do for them. And in addition, I also reached out to George Homewood. He's the planning director in Norfolk, and he's the former supervisor of the current Virginia Beach planning director. I said, look, if it comes around your way, just let, if it comes that way, feel free to give us a call as well. We want to make sure that they need any assistance of any kind over whatever period of time it takes them to get reset. We're here to help. I just want to make that comment before we got started. Coming up, as is listed on your agenda, June the 24th, we have a joint meeting with City Council. This is going to be a 2-item work session. Mr. Sweats is going to give an update on the Build One Portsmouth project and sort of implementation. It's only been a few months, but we do have some updates to report on that. And then the bulk of the work session is going to be zoning ordinance related. It's been a few months, I think about maybe 5 or 6 months since the last joint meeting with City Council on that, so we will include an update for everyone as to where the project is. And then we're going to have 2 or 3 topics for a little bit more detailed conversation, and to give you a little bit of advance notice. We're going to be talking about the non-conformity section of the code, which is non-conforming uses, non-conforming lots, non-conforming structures, non-conforming signs, non-conforming site aspects. We will go over that. We're also going to spend some time on something that's was one of the triggers, in fact, of this whole process, our distance separation requirements. And we have a number, I think the number's 26 or so, specially called out requirements to separate one use from another, and as in many cases, we're finding that sort of precludes the use from going anywhere, because the distance separations just don't work. I believe that's the interchange building that's out there on Airline Boulevard. They had to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals because of the distance separation requirement. So we will be having some discussion on that. And then the third thing is we've been working again on one of those things that triggered this project, the replacement of the D2 form-based code, and we will go over the proposed overlay district. We've already discussed at the last meeting the proposed changing of the zoning, the underlying districts, and you may recall when the Wawa rezoning, that was actually a project that was implementing some of those new recommendations that came also out of the Build One Portsmouth work with MDC when they did the land use plan D2. So we will be discussing where we are in that overlay district and explaining a little bit more detail what an overlay district is and how it would work here, and some of the specific suggestions for how to do that. And those are the 3 primary topics in addition to the sort of update. And then we'll give an update on the or preview of what we sort of the next big things we would get into as we start to roll towards putting together a completed replacement zoning ordinance. And be glad to answer any questions you may have on that.
What time is it? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, what time is it? That's a good one.
That's a
It's
Monday.
a Monday, it's a 6. Regular council work session time is 6 p.m. Be in this room.
My question is, at that time, you also, how long do you think it will be before the new ordinance will be able to put
Depends.
on a lot of things?
There's one of the things we will discuss. We've got a few, I just call them things I put in a parking lot. And we may have a few items we decide to not integrate into the original code. We may have to provide a placeholder, because each and every one of them could be a major time delay if we have to stop and work on it. To give you an example, if someone, for example, wanted us to pursue Airbnb, short-term rental modification, that issue has come up. I know during the Summer in the Water event, there were people calling about that. Well, that's fine, but that is a major undertaking. Virginia Beach spent 3 years doing their short-term rental piece. Ours, unfortunately, not the way our code is set up, we have uses that already allow some of those uses already, so the impacts would be a little different than a lot of other localities. We do have use, for example, a boarding house we allow. That, by definition, looks an awful lot like an unrestricted short-term rental in terms of time frame. So that's one of those issues that's out there. We have others. And we have a few other placeholders we'll be looking at. Casinos, for example, as the General Assembly keeps working, legalizing cannabis. You know, if we have obviously, we can have one of the 5 facilities in the state. We don't specifically call that out of the state. We're to go to other alternate locations for dispensing or for, if they needed larger areas for harvesting. You know, our code isn't really, not very agricultural, for example, in our code for dealing with that kind of thing. So we have a number of those things. We're gonna put a placeholder, and any one of those things would put a pretty significant delay if we got too deep into it. We're hoping, 6 to 12 months, wrap this thing up and be done with it. We're trying to get most of it done before the end of the year, if not pretty close. We'll have to have some time for public input. We'll start putting more of this on our webpage, for example, so that there's plenty of advance time for anyone who wants to read what's being worked on, see it sitting out there in a draft form. But that's kind of the time frame we're working on.
Any additional questions for Ms. Paul?
That's it.
Okay. Well, that concludes the work session for June and not January. And we will start our regular